Good afternoon, I'm Rick Williams, and we are breaking into regular programming to bring you the very latest on our AccuWeather forecast. We're under an AccuWeather alert as we track strong storms moving through the region, and we're also under a tornado watch until 6 o'clock tonight. Meteorologist Cecily Tynan is in the Weather Center with all the latest details. Cecily.
And Rick, it's been a very active day with waves of storms, some heavy rain and gusty winds, and Double Scan Live showing the last of the strong storms right now has just pushed east of Baltimore. It's moving east at 40 miles per hour pretty quickly, and this has spawned a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings posted for southern Lancaster, southern Chester County, all of Newcastle County, parts of Delaware County, parts of Gloucester County, and Salem County until 3:45, because these storms are packing the potential of wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, potentially damaging storms. So tracking this whole line as it continues to move east, Pleasant Hill, Newark, Delaware, Hockessin, Windy Hills, Glasgow, and Milltown, all in the path of the storm system. If you live in those communities, you do want to seek shelter immediately. And we do have some other areas of some heavy rain. Not severe, but this one line has pushed through Trenton. The Princeton region continues to push up to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour pretty quickly. Also, Berks County has been hit really hard. We've got flash flood warnings in effect here. This one cell of heavy rain pushing east of Reading right now. Honeybrook and Coatesville also dealing with some thunder and lightning, all ahead of a cold front that will be pushing off the coast by about 6 o'clock tonight. So we do have a tornado watch posted for our entire viewing area until then. What this means, conditions are favorable for a possible isolated tornado to occur. And even without any tornadoes, we do have a lot of reports of wind damage. The storm reports really concentrated from this morning over the Jersey Shore and the Delaware beaches. We've had several dozen reports of wind damage, bringing down a lot of trees, also damaging the boardwalk in Wildwood, pulling a roof of a marina up in Summers Point. Island Beach State Park in Ocean County reporting a peak wind gust of 82 miles per hour earlier today. Beach Haven almost that, 74 Atlantic City, 73 Cape May, 72 in Strathmere reporting a wind gust of 68 miles per hour this morning. So a high wind warning is in effect for most of our viewing area until 6 o'clock. This means we could have any wind gusts, even without the thunderstorms, up to about 70 miles per hour. And with a lot of the ground saturated from the heavy rain, we've had up to about 3 inches. That could cause some trees to come down and could cause some power line outages. So this is what to expect the rest of the afternoon. We have an AccuWeather alert for the broken line of storms. Really looks like the strongest will be south of Philadelphia, should be pushing off the coast between 5 and 6 o'clock with damaging wind gusts. Also the potential for more localized flooding. As we head through tonight, the winds will gradually diminish. I'll talk more about that in the full AccuWeather forecast starting at 4. Rick?
Ruth? All right, we're going to break away from the governor for a moment and go back over to Cecily in the Weather Center, where there is word of a tornado warning, huh?
Yeah, and you know, this was the line I was talking about at the top of the hour. We do now have a tornado warning posted for part of Kent County, Delaware, basically the area of south of Dover until 4 o'clock. There's a cell that's moving east very quickly at about 50 miles per hour that has indicated there's some rotation. So if you live in this area, you want to seek shelter immediately. Go into your basement, go into the lowest floor of your home, an interior room away from any windows. This system has been reporting wind gusts of 70 miles per hour. It's moving through Maryland right now. It continues to push to the east. So Maridel, Lord's Corner, Viola, Woodside, Canterbury, and Fredericia all in the path of the storm system. We are seeing some of the notches, and that's typical when you see the potential for rotation developing. You see some of the notches in that radar, and you can see that there is one developing right now south of Maridel. Also, even without any rotation, this has been reporting peak wind gusts, sustained straight line winds of 70 miles per hour, and that's enough to bring down a lot of trees and power lines. What we can do, we can show you relative velocity. We want to just move this over a little bit, Paul, and where you see the red up, and we are detecting now low level lock showing that that rotation. When you see the red and the green, it indicates the direction of the winds. The green is toward the radar site. The red is away from it. And where we get the green and the red right together, and that's where we're seeing it south of Meridell, that is what's called gate-to-gate shear. That shows that there's tight rotation, and that's causing the potential tornado to spin up, and it's continuing to move east at about 50 miles per hour. So again, if you do live in this area, you want to seek shelter right away. The best place to go is in a basement. If you don't have a basement, just get into the lowest level of your house, away from any windows. You want to put as many layers between you and the outside as possible. It's a fallacy that you have to open up windows to reduce any air pressure. That's not true at all. It's the fact that the wind can cause trees to fall down on your house, and that can cause a lot of problems with broken glass and windows. So a wider view showing this is what I'm tracking. You see that line that's moving into Delaware right now. This is ahead of the cold front that'll be sweeping off by about 5 o'clock today. It's fast moving. Once this line passes, actually you'll see the return of some sunshine, and our skies will be clearing and the winds will be diminishing. But this is the cell south of Dover right now that is radar indicated. What this means, there hasn't been anyone who actually sees a funnel cloud, but the radar is indicating that there's some rotation that we showed you with the relative velocity. And in addition to any straight line winds, this can cause the tornado damage that can hit some specific communities. So again, that tornado warning is in effect for parts of Kent County, Delaware, south of Dover until 4 o'clock. Widespread severe thunderstorm watch is in effect with this line of storms that continues to push to the east. And if it holds together going across the Delaware Bay, this means that we could have some severe thunderstorms hitting parts of Cape May County that were hit earlier today with some real intense wind gusts more than 60, 70 miles per hour, causing some widespread wind damage, a lot of damage to the Wildwood Boardwalk, also some roofs blown off of hotels and marinas. So zooming in on Storm Tracker 6 live double scan, that is the strongest part of the storm. That's where near Meridell, and actually I can hear some thunder outside our building right now with the same line of storms. You see that little hook? That's an indication that the winds are wrapping around the thunderstorms, and this is an indication that some of that rotation is trying to spin up and perhaps reaching the surface. The relative velocity again showing that we are still seeing that pretty intense gate-to-gate shear with the red and the green showing that the winds are going in opposite directions, potentially spinning up that tornado and causing some of the damage. We have had a lot of reports of thunderstorm damage and even synoptic wind damage from earlier today in parts of Delaware and South Jersey. This is really where it's been hit the hardest. So Viola, Woodside, Canterbury, Frederica, and Bowers Beach all in the path of the storm system as we continue to push it towards the east. Looks like it's heading towards Route 13 in Dover. So if you know anybody who lives here, may want to give them a call and tell them to seek shelter immediately. This is the one cell that we've been tracking that does have that potential to cause the tornadoes. We do have the tornado watch in effect for our entire viewing area until 6 o'clock, but a wider view showing that the real severe part of the storm is well south of Philadelphia. You're probably hearing the thunder right now in Philadelphia, but again, the strongest part of the storm is across Kent County, Delaware. Philadelphia right now, we have some thunderstorms, we have some heavy rain also near Gibbstown, but the best dynamics really south. So again, that tornado warning is in effect for Kent County, Delaware until 4 o'clock. We'll have a full report on Action News at 4. Back to you, Rick. I'm meteorologist Cecily Tynan with this AccuWeather alert. We have a tornado warning in effect for southern Kent County. Now, this is really the same cell that spawned the tornado warning earlier. That was canceled. It's been reissued since rotation has been detected. So this area is south of Dover right now, near Lebanon, basically between routes 15, Route 1. That tornado warning is in effect until 4 o'clock. We have been tracking it on our radar, and it really is showing some pretty good rotation right now. Just south of Dover, it's moving east very quickly at about 50 miles per hour, and this is causing some straight line wind damage and also some of that rotation as we put this in the relative velocity mode. This shows the wind direction heading towards the radar site in green, away in red, and we are seeing pretty good gate-to-gate shear right now, basically between Dover and Canterbury. This is where some of those winds could be spinning enough to spawn a tornado, and as this line continues continues to push east pretty quickly at 50 miles per hour. It will be crossing some roads and some communities. It is heading towards the Delaware Bay currently, but looks like it'll be crossing Route 115, moving east very quickly at about 50 miles per hour. Zooming in, it was detected very close to Woodside. Looks like the center of that rotation has pushed east of Woodside right now. It's approaching Route 113 from Route 13. It's moving due east. These systems has been pushing very quickly, generally moving at about 40 to 60 miles per hour. This one in particular at 50 miles per hour, and it's all ahead of a cold front that'll be sweeping through within about the next hour and a half, and this is what has been spawning all that very active thunderstorm activity with the damaging winds. Parts of Delaware, parts of South Jersey already reporting some wind damage, and you can see a little bit of that notching right now crossing Route 113. So if you live in this area, what you want to do, you want to seek shelter immediately. If you have a basement, that's the best place to go. If you don't have a basement, just get to the lowest level of your home. You want to get away from any windows. So if you have an interior bathroom or even a closet, that's a good place to go. You want to put as many layers between you and the outdoors, and you want to get away from any windows. Somebody asked me on my social media, they have a bathroom with a skylight. Is that okay? Absolutely not. If you have that, the better place to go would be into an interior closet. Double Scan Live 3D showing this whole line of storms moving to the east. It moved through Philadelphia. We didn't get any severe weather. We had some heavy rain, some thunder, but it looks like the best dynamics from the system have been to the south. Kent County, Delaware, this is where we do have that tornado warning. It's the same line that rolled through Baltimore about a half an hour ago. If it holds together, it would be bringing some severe weather to parts of Cape May, New Jersey as well. That got hit with some pretty active thunderstorms early on today and some wind gusts anywhere from 60 to 70 miles per hour. So this shows the line. It's pushing through right now. The actual northern part of the line is east of Philadelphia. We've got some thunderstorms across parts of Camden, Gloucester, and Salem County. But what I'm tracking, it's what's south of Dover. This is where we do have an indication of some of those rotating winds. And Paul, why don't we go ahead and go back to the beginning of this? Here we go. Now we can see the line of storms. Now, only do we have a little bit of the notching, that bit of a hook, we also are seeing the bowing out with this line in particular. So that means not only is there the potential for a tornado, but also the possibility of straight line wind damage. And in this area, straight line winds typically cause a lot more damage than a tornado. So severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect for all of the state of Delaware into South Jersey, but the most intense part of the storm system, this is where we have that tornado warning in effect until 4 o'clock. It's south of Dover right now. It's basically Lebanon all the way to the coast. So if you live in this area, in that red polygon, essentially south of Dover between Route 15 and the coast, this is where you want to get indoors right away. Get to the lowest level of your home, a basement if you have it, an interior bathroom or closet, a good idea as well. Definitely want to be away from any windows. So Storm Tracker 6 Live double scan. What we're doing right now, we're zooming in the communities. So Ponderosa Drive, Barker's Landing Road, this is where we're seeing the center of that possible rotation. This is radar indicated. Don't have any people that have actually seen a funnel cloud, seen any of that touching down, but the radar has been showing that there is enough of that rotation in the atmosphere that it can spawn a tornado. So zooming out between Route 13 and the coast, this is where we've got the most strongest part of the storm system. In addition to a lot of lightning, you're hearing thunder if you live here. The wind damage is likely pretty tremendous. And this is kind of the same area that earlier today we had some of the synoptic wind damage crossing, causing a lot of trees and power lines in parts of Delaware, parts of South Jersey. We've had wind gusts clocked at 60 to more than 80 miles per hour. So this particular line right now is crossing, getting very close to hitting the coast. It'll be crossing the Delaware Bay, and you can see how it does expand through parts of Cumberland County, Salem County, Gloucester, and Camden County. However, they are not under the tornado warning. So tornado warning is confined to Kent County, Delaware, but we do have severe thunderstorm warnings extended across South Jersey. So these are some of the other areas that do have some really active active thunderstorms with the potential for wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Crossing the Atlantic City Expressway, Egg Harbor, it's south of Hamilton right now. It's crossed Millville, and they're all moving very quickly. And this is part of the region that actually has seen some sunshine today. That's not good. The sunshine can add fuel to the fire and basically destabilize the atmosphere even more. So when you have that cold front pushing in, that's when you can get a lot of this convective activity, the thunderstorms to develop with the potential for some wind gusts and the potential for some damage. So anywhere south of 322, this is where we have that broken line of storms moving through and seeing a lot of the notches in the radar. And that's an indication that the atmosphere is kind of starting to spin up and trying to produce some rotation that can cause some additional damage. So Bridgeton right now, Route 49 currently, Millville crossing 55, and all of this should be pushing off the coast. Honestly, I think it's probably about 5 o'clock. And then west of this, I should say, that's when we get the clearing skies, and that's when the winds will diminish and our weather will settle down after a very stormy day. But this is the cell that I'm tracking moving through Kent County right now, where we do have that tornado warning in effect until 4 o'clock south of Dover. It's moving through Fredericia right now. It's approaching the coast, and a lot of times when you get a storm system like that hitting the water, it can weaken. So we're hoping that happens before it presses into South Jersey. Bowers Beach right now, you're under the gun. And Paul, why don't we go ahead and flip this over to relative velocity and see if we can see if there's been any improvement. What we typically want to see with a cell like this is we want to see that gate-to-gate shear diminishing. And actually, this looks like it is. We're not seeing the red and the green right next to each other. So this can be an indication that the storm system is weakening. Hopefully it continues to do that. And I do have my colleague Adam Joseph at home right now tracking this tornado warning for Kent County. Adam, what do you see?
Yeah, seeing the same thing you're seeing. Basically, you've got the worst part of the line in southern parts of Delaware and southern parts of New Jersey. That is where we're having these little spin-ups, these little kinks in the radar that continue to pass through. We had that one warning when it was coming out of Maryland as I was watching. It was on Facebook Live from here at home, helping those on social media that are watching as well. That was discontinued, and then they reissued that warning for southern parts of Kent County. You can see it a small sliver here just to the south and east of Dover and just to the east of Route 1 and Route 13. It's almost about to head over to the Bay of Delaware right now. This is until 4 o'clock, that tornado warning. Again, the warning meaning there is a radar indicated possible tornado with this. And you can see, even if there wasn't a tornado on the ground within this line, it has destructive winds with it as it continues to barrel through Kent County and then heading over the bay. Quite a bit of lightning with this, and now we're throwing the storm relative velocity on this. This dissects the storm and takes a look at the winds within the storm structure to see which way they are moving. And if you're seeing some sort of rotation, you'd have green right next to red. But what I'm seeing here is it's heading over the bay. You see those bright red colors to the east of the lightning strikes. Those are winds moving away from the radar in Dover in excess of probably 60 plus miles an hour. I know Paul at the station could always put on how strong those winds possibly can be, but they are booking themselves working to the east here. And as they head over the water, there you go, 57 miles an hour, 53 mile an hour, straight line winds within that, because you're seeing all red. You're not seeing those bright greens bumping against the red. And then once it moves over the bay, there's no friction of land, so you're not going to slow those wind speeds down. In fact, those wind speeds would increase over the open waters. So we're going to see those winds continuing to strengthen. And there's a little hook right there. You can see that little hook that is working just to the south of the radar. And that could be not a tornado if that was the case, because it's over water now. That would be a water spout. And without the friction, you can really spin those up very quickly along this band as it pushes to the east. So we'll watch this as this is now moving to the east of Route 1 and Route 13 in Kent County over the open waters of the bay. But we have a lot more going on as well to the north. We're not seeing any tornado warnings for the Philadelphia area, but we'll watch that cell, because once it moves over the water, it's heading towards South Jersey. You can see It is still quite a bit away from Cape May County, but we'll watch that because it can strengthen when it's over that open water. So we'll have to watch this. They're moving at about 50 miles an hour to the east here. So we're putting a track on there for you right now to give you kind of a timeline of when to possibly expect this as you head towards Cape May County. And there you can see it is sometime between 10 past and 20 past 4 o'clock. We'll watch those to enter western Cape May County. And again, but that tornado warning until 4 o'clock this evening. We are going to go to Action News at 4 right now. Much more coming up right now.
Kent County, Delaware has now expired. It expired just a few moments ago. Double Scan Live showing the line that we've been tracking. It's moving through Philadelphia, which is the northern part. I should say it's already moved through Philadelphia, but it's really strong across parts of Delaware, and it's now moving across the Delaware Bay, heading into South Jersey, and this has produced some wind gusts up to about 70 miles per hour. So the tornado warning has been canceled, but we've got a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for basically all of South Jersey as that line continues to move east at about 50 miles per hour. It has been producing wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, and that can cause a lot of damage. So Storm Tracker 6 Live Double Scan tracking the most intense part of the storm, and this is what is basically right over the Delaware Bay right now, moving east at 50 miles per hour. So North Cape May, Villas, Delhaven, Reeds Beach, Cape May, and Rio Grande, all in the path of the storm system. So if you live in those communities, you do want to seek shelter immediately. Even though this isn't a tornado, it's packing wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. So a good idea if you live in those communities to go ahead and get in your basement. Very important because we are looking at a lot of lightning strikes, a lot of damaging winds, and that tornado watch does continue until 6 o'clock for our entire viewing area. So you do want to stay weather aware. It's been a very active day. And earlier today, a lot of wind damage reported, especially at the Jersey Shore. Meteorologist Adam Joseph is joining from home with more on that. Adam.
Yeah, and those wind damage reports we have seen and the pictures and the videos from the shore, they weren't from thunderstorms. They were just some winds that were transported down with these very heavy rains and just how powerful the atmosphere is juiced up today. In fact, take a look at this picture. This is just one of many we've gotten in. Donna sent this in from Somers Point, New Jersey, from my Facebook page, and multiple trees down in her yard, her brother's yard, and Somers Point, of course, getting really whacked. We saw the roof being ripped off of a marina down there as well. In fact, storm reports, it is lined up from Long Beach Island all the way down to southern Delaware and the beaches down there. In fact, those storm reports, we're talking about dozens of them, and they were mainly all wind damage reports. In fact, wind speed on Island Beach State Park, 82 miles an hour. Beach Haven, 74. That is hurricane force. Atlantic City, 73 miles an hour. Cape May, 72. And Strathmere, a wind gust of 68 miles an hour. In addition to the lightning, as well as the thunder and all of the damage reports from wind, we've had a lot of rain. Up to 3 inches has fallen in parts of the Lehigh Valley. Flash flooding there until 5 o'clock tonight. Berks County, be very cautious. If you do have to go out, or if you're an essential worker and have to go to work, you see water covering the road, turn around, find an alternate route. And also a good portion of western northern Chester County, seeing quite a bit of flooding there. The East Branch of the Brandywine below Downingtown, Brandywine Creek at Chadds Ford, and Red Clay Creek at Wooddale also seeing some flooding there. I'll be back in just a little bit. The sunshine's starting to come out here at my home west of Philadelphia, meaning we are in the clear here, but we'll chat more about that and look at those storms coming up in a little bit, guys.
Okay, very good, Adam.